Hello everyone and Happy New Year. My name is Tom Prismover and welcome back to the first video of the new year, which is going to be a storytelling method. Today, jumping right in, we are going into what I'm calling additive storytelling, which in the particular case I mean can be divided into two separate bits. The first pertains to things like, for examples, World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2, MMOs, where as a result of their format, they have to continue expanding their lore. They have to keep things relatively fresh while using the assets they have available. And then there's the second kind of additive, the thing that pops up, stays for a while, but never gets fully explained. And for example, in that, we are going to look at Lord of the Rings. At this point, it's not a classical work, but it's certainly a classic work. Alright, let's begin. Now, in the examples of World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2, Guild Wars 2 is based off the Dragon Cycle. It is a 1,000-year cycle that comes and the dragons wake up, eat all the magic, return to sleep. We are trying to find a way to break and solve the problems caused by that cycle. It had 4 years ago, finished that entire storyline. Okay, cool. Now what? This is a problem that they had not done before, and thus they need to add more story elements in order to keep themselves going. In this particular case, they added the Wizard's Tower that had been floating just on its own in the bottom portion of the map and made an entire expansion out of that. The very first expansion was very weak because trying to add things after finishing a major part of your story is not, I would say, generally received well. However, after it's been established, you can continue to build off of it. And thus, the Janthir Wilds storyline and the Visions of Eternity one, while not nearly as impactful as the Dragon Cycle that we originally learned the game and its story from, is still going stronger to this day. And conversely, the additive story of World of Warcraft, with one caveat. Everything about the game had been surrounding the Burning Legion storyline, from the very beginning when the orcs invaded, to Warcraft 3 whenever they made a major push, to the every single expansion, essentially minus one. Burning Crusade was another effort. Wrath of the Lich King was a discarded asset of the Legion. Cataclysm was about the founding of the world, which one of the things that the Legion was supposed to actually come into contact with, Neltharion. Warlords of Draenor was what would happen if the orcs turned away the Legion, and then, of course, Legion, where we finish them off. And thus, they face a similar problem to Guild Wars 2. What do we do? In this particular case, they decide to add elements by expanding upon the Lich King and death magic in general. Anyone who's a fan of World of Warcraft knows how Shadowlands went. I love World of Warcraft. I know how it went. They seem to be doing better, at least these days, so that's something. But in the case of Guild Wars 2 versus World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2 had a weak reset to its storyline in trying to continue onward, whereas World of Warcraft rushed and then tried to rush towards what it was building for, and then completely fell on its face. Everyone hates Shadowlands. I cannot repeat that enough. No. What were they smoking? However, I did mention there was an exception to the Burning Crusade, everything pertains to this prior to the end of Legion. That one falls into the second category. Mists in Pandaria. It is out of left field. It was not really explained beforehand. And it was peak. Do note that at the time, this was 2012 Blizzard, which was, I believe the launch of Overwatch happened either a couple years later or around this time. So they had ample amounts of trust, and in terms of Mists of Pandaria, they delivered. They did not just give you area and panda characters, they also delved into it, adding to the game in a meaningful way, and also expanding the story with everything involving what happens when the Alliance and Horde show up and all of that. They added something and made good on it. But what happens if you don't make good on it? Well, Lord of the Rings. Within the early story, the crew gets lost in a dark forest and nearly fall victim to a willow tree. Then out of nowhere comes a giant man named Tom Bombadil, who saves them, brings him to his cottage, helps them on their way, and then saves them a second time from ancient ghosts patrolling through their ruined crypts. This man is barely explained, and people still do not know where he falls in anything. And even worse, he is said to be powerful enough to resist the temptation of the ring, which, in Lord of the Rings, is constantly whispering to its holder, or its user, or whoever, to put it on and take power for themselves. It is an item of great greed, of pride, of all sorts of bad things. He is not explained at all. We have no clue what his deal is. He's around long enough that we can get a general gist of his character, and there's even a collection of stories involving him, which, take a wild guess why I'm making this. I may or may not have gotten that book for Christmas. This additive storytelling is entirely Deus Ex Machina, but it's gone into deep enough that it makes the reader wonder things. And it's brought up again later, so it's not just a one-off. Now, how does this apply to you making a story? Well, in the case of the first time, I would say, soft reboot, trying to add new elements to your storyline to continue things, you also need to look at how the world is. In the case of, say, Guild Wars 2, they're continuing their expansion of the storyline by focusing on the mists. Things from the landscape that houses the afterlives and all sorts of crazy supernatural monsters, as well as fractal realities that show memories of what has been. Where in World of Warcraft, they focused more on the aspects of the Realm of Death, the Shadowlands, and I think more recently the Realm of the Void is another major aspect that they're trying to build into again. With what's-her-face, the, fourth Void God that's on Azeroth. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up. I gave up after Shadowlands. Wherein, with Mists of Pandaria and the likes of Tom Bombadil, the out-of-left-field, but it works somehow, once again, you need to build upon it. If you're going to introduce something out of nowhere that does not fit anything, even if it's a Deus Ex Machina like Tom Bombadil was, just some random author saving grace, you need to keep it there for at least long enough for the reader to get a feel of it. The entire region of Pandaria was the player's oysters. They could learn about the culture and everything, even if it was just Asian pandas. In the case of Tom Bombadil, we see his cottage, see his wife, get to hear him singing and talking for a while, and then Gandalf or someone from the council or someone explained, yeah, he could handle the ring, but he has 0 desire, so he would just throw it out and we'd be back to square one. He is brought up enough and explained by characters and people that we at least can trust for the sources, that he is fascinating. This is a bit more of a rambly one, and my original script of what I thought about to say delved way too deeply into World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2's story. I adore those games, their storylines, with all of my heart. But this is also long enough. So, thank you all so much for watching. Welcome back and have a happy new year, despite Venezuela happening. And I will see you all next time for probably V Rising, I think. Take care.